Juror number 3, 4-person. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are those your verdicts as read? So say you one, so say you all, as to defendant Clarence Stewart.
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Stewart,
Please have a seat.
District Court, Clark County, Nevada. The State of Nevada Plaintiff versus Orenthal James Simpson, defendant. Case number C-237-890, Department 5. Verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, as follows. Count 1, conspiracy to commit a crime. Guilty. Count 2, conspiracy to commit kidnapping. Guilty. Count 3, conspiracy to commit robbery. Guilty. Count 4, burglary while in possession of a deadly weapon. Guilty of burglary while in possession of a deadly weapon. Count 5, first-degree kidnapping with use of a deadly weapon. Bruce Furlong, guilty of first-degree kidnapping with use of a deadly weapon. Count 6, first-degree kidnapping with use of a deadly weapon. Alfred Beardsley, guilty of first-degree kidnapping with use of a deadly weapon. Count 7, robbery with use of a deadly weapon. Bruce Furlong, guilty of robbery with use of a deadly weapon. Count 8, robbery with use of a deadly weapon. Alfred Beardsley, guilty of robbery with use of a deadly weapon. Count 9, assault with a deadly weapon. Bruce Furlong, guilty of assault with a deadly weapon. Count 10, assault with a deadly weapon. Alfred Beardsley, guilty of assault with a deadly weapon. Count 11, coercion with use of a deadly weapon. Bruce Furlong, alternative to count 5, guilty of coercion with use of a deadly weapon. Count 12, coercion with use of a deadly weapon. Alfred Beardsley, alternative to count 6, guilty of coercion with use of a deadly weapon. Dated this 3rd day of October 2008, juror number 3, 4-person. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are those your verdicts as read? So say you one, so say you all, as to defendant Orenthal James Simpson.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Simpson, have a seat.
Everyone stay where you are. Do not move. Everyone stay where you are. Do not move.
Did somebody just hit the button?
No, time out at 11.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Sandy, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, does anybody wish to have the jury polled?
On behalf of Mr. Stewart,
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, what will happen now is Sandy will call out your seat number. So when your seat number is called out, answer her out loud. She'll go through this twice. Once for defendant Stewart, and then once for defendant Simpson. Just answer her out loud, please.
Jury number 1, are those your verdicts as read, as to Clarence Stewart?
As they poll the jury, you have seen the stunning result of this verdict. O.J. Simpson, on the 13th anniversary of his double murder acquittal, has been found guilty of all 12 counts in this robbery case in Las Vegas.
And those charges carry a potential life sentence. Also guilty was his co-defendant Clarence Stewart, who's 54 years old.
As you saw O.J. Simpson standing there, he shook his head as if to say, I knew it was coming. Of course, after he saw what his co-defendant received, there was no doubt in anyone's mind that O.J. Simpson would receive the exact same sentence.
It's really unbelievable that it actually happened on the day of his 13th anniversary of the double murder acquittal. I mean, most people, I don't think, were expecting the jurors, which was comprised of 9 women and 3 men, none of them black. They deliberated for more than 12 hours. And they did listen to nearly 3 weeks of testimony. Now, the jury's discussion began exactly 13 years, as we said, after Simpson was acquitted in Los Angeles of murdering his ex-wife and her friend.
Well, prosecutors painted quite a case against O.J. Simpson, that he masterminded this alleged robbery of 2 sports collectible dealers in a hotel room. Was it last year? I said sentencing. I meant verdict today earlier when I said that. It's a verdict that was reached tonight. And the Hall of Fame running back, he contended that he had his guys were just there to retrieve stuff that belonged to him. Clearly, the jury did not see it that way.
Well, the big thing in the case was that whether or not they brought guns to, quote unquote, collect the memorabilia.